I hope you're not
Absolutely.
doing any trend.
I'm not yet.
Okay.
Should I return the stuff I bought? Welcome back to the Daily Brief. I'm Talia, and I'm here to give you all of the biggest stories all in one place. Today, we will be chatting about the Offset shooting. He was shot near a casino in Florida outside. Big T there. We'll be talking about Kanye getting banned from traveling to the UK and the whole downfall of the music festival he was scheduled to headline. We'll be talking about a Variety interview that Chloe Fineman did, where she revealed she pantsed a child as a camp counselor, and she's been getting tons of backlash on that. And we'll be closing out with CBS Morning's interview with this 16-year-old looks maxer. Obviously, I got strong opinions on that, so without further ado, let me give you the rundown. So Monday night, near the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, former Migos rapper Offset was shot, reportedly in the leg. A spokesperson said Offset's fine, he's in the hospital receiving medical care. We got this image of him being wheeled out for a cigarette break and then wheeled back in. My favorite image to ever be taken ever, like hanging in the Louvre. The rep added he's stable, he's being closely monitored, and the Seminole police told TMZ we're aware of an incident that occurred at a valet area after 7 p.m. Monday outside Seminole Hard Rock Hollywood that resulted in non-life-threatening injuries to an individual who was transported to Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood. So we don't know still if this was a targeted shooting, if anyone allegedly did shoot Offset. We know he was at this casino. There have been reports that he loves to gamble, potentially harmful to himself, like maybe a gambling addiction. These are just some reports. None of this has been confirmed. But also now we've been hearing Lil TJ has been arrested in connection. So he was not the shooter, not involved in that way, but he was arrested for disorderly conduct. And reportedly the two had been fighting outside by the valet area. Kay, are you there?
Hi, Talia.
Hey, tell me a little bit about what's been going on, because I opened up our site and there's about 95 articles and a million details in this case, and I would love to know more.
You covered a lot of it. So yes, Monday evening, around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we broke the story that Offset was shot near a Florida casino. Now we know, as you said, the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. And so, of course, those reports came in. We were able to speak to a rep who told us that Offset was okay and in stable position and was checked into a hospital and getting treated for his injuries. Currently, he is still there. As of Tuesday morning, we got reports that little TJ was arrested and booked in the Broward County Jail, as you said, on a misdemeanor, disorderly conduct, in connection to the shooting that happened on Monday. And so our producers right now are working on, further details. There's some swirling videos online that we're trying to confirm right now. But yeah, it's a lot going on.
I had no idea that Offset and Lil TJ were kind of feuding or fighting or had beef like that. Do we know what the nature of why they are arguing?
As I said, there's some rumors going around that we're
Right.
trying to confirm right now, so I don't want to speculate or put anything out there. But I can tell you, I didn't, if there is some type of beef, I didn't know about it either. And I'm not going to say it's weird that these two cross paths. They're both successful rappers, one more than the other. But,
Shady.
I know it was a very heartbreaking situation for a lot of people. We saw Quavo post on his Instagram story, praying hands, as you know. The third member of Migos is Quavo, Takeoff, and Offset, of course, Takeoff lost his life actually the night of Halloween, November 1st. And back in 2022, he was shot and killed. And Quavo was actually standing right next to him when that situation happened. I know Cardi B has been looking online and following the story. She actually liked one of our tweets regarding this situation last night. It was the tweet of Offset seen before the shooting, posing with fans, happy, looking like he was enjoying his night at a casino. So I'm sure Cardi B's been following this very closely. But I'm sure it was just a very tragic situation, and lots of people are sending their love to Offset right now.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I feel like I hate hearing, obviously, about any shooting, like any violent situation. But it's so sad to see that like Takeoff lost his life to a shooting, and now
Yeah.
to see like Quavo posting and praying, it's just
Yeah.
a really,
Yeah. And
really
these are, Offset is a father, this
yeah,
is a man who has kids, and a career and a family. And so, it's unfortunate that, this situation happened. And, but the bright side is that we did get reports that he's doing fine and
good.
he's in stable condition and he's just getting treated for his injuries. So of course we're going to be following this closely. We're just all sending our love to Offset right now.
Of course. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for the update, and keep us
Yes,
updated if you find out anything else.
I will.
All right, bye,
All right.
Ken.
Thank you.
Drama out of the United Kingdom. The UK Prime Minister, Mr. Starmer, issued an official statement on X, where all official statements are published these days, saying Kanye West should have never been invited to headline Wireless. This government stands firmly with the Jewish community, and we will not stop in our fight to confront and defeat the poison of anti-Semitism. We will always take the action necessary to protect the public and uphold our values. So if you didn't know, Kanye was set to headline this 3-day festival in the UK called Wireless. Upon the announcement of his headlining ship, sponsors immediately were like, yep, we're pulling out, we're done, we want nothing to do with this. Pepsi, gone. I believe Diego, another like huge sponsor of the event, out. Wireless Fest, as of 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, has been canceled. The organization announced it on Instagram. This is also, though, following Kanye has been banned from the United Kingdom. He had his visa withdrawn by the UK government, according to The Guardian, and the UK Home Office, which is like similar to our version of Department of Homeland Security, revoked his entry after it initially had been allowed. I personally am a fan of this. I think we should not give a platform to people who are hateful or commit hate crimes or spread hate speech. I think it would be the same way if there was an artist, a white artist who had said the N-word. I would hope they would also receive the same treatment, or an artist who had a domestic violence incident. I know a lot of people saying, well, this would have never happened if it was an artist who did something else, like it's because it's the Jewish community. No, I think it's because Kanye said some disgusting, disturbing things, and he got nixed, and I think that's a precedent we need to start setting for other artists. Anakin, what do you think?
Talia, I actually disagree with you. I didn't realize, because I know we connected before this.
We prepped a little.
And we prepped just a little bit, like a sentence here or there. And you said, I guess I had misinterpreted what you were saying, that you said you agreed, and I thought you were agreeing with what was in my mind, which is that I don't know that this is the right call. Now,
wow.
Let me preface by saying, I am not a fan of Kanye. I don't like Kanye's music. From what I've seen of him as a person, I really can't vibe with him as a person. Not that I should, because I've never met the guy before in my life. But that said, I think it's a slippery slope when you start to ban artists from going to countries. Now, that said, Kanye is in a special class here because what he's said has been so egregious and so outspoken and so unapologetic. And even after the apologies that he's given, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow to just be like, oh, yeah, he had problems. It's like, yeah, we all have problems. Like, it's never excuses bad behavior. And so in that regard, I can't say that I could lean one way or another in this case. But taking the whole principle in general, right, where it's an artist that's getting banned from a country for something they've said, again, it's a slippery slope, right? Because if you're going to go to that extreme with an extreme like Kanye, then, well, when you start tapering it down, then it's like, well, we just don't want artists who disagree with us. And to me, the biggest, the most powerful thing an artist can do is bring joy to other people by way of their art. If their art is harmful to other people, that's where it becomes a problem. But most of the time, art is something to be enjoyed by those who love it and not enjoyed by those who could care less. So for me, for example, I don't like Kanye's music, so I could care less whether I'm at a concert of his or not. But there are people who love Kanye's music, who want to go to a concert to experience his music live, and that's totally fine to do, regardless of what was said. Now, like I said, because of his super egregious comments and the fact that he was so unapologetic and so loud about it, that makes things a little trickier for Kanye in specific. And I'm sure there's various other artists out there who are the same way. But I'm Jewish, you're Jewish. I think Jews, we got to have a thick skin here because like 95% your favorite artist has probably said something anti-Semitic before. So
that is
enough with the like,
true.
oh, let's cancel it. It's like, I enjoy your art. Like Pink Floyd, for example, is like perfect for me. One of my top 5 favorite bands. Never would hang out with Roger Waters in my life. I think he's grossly anti-Semitic, but whatever. Like, your music brings me more joy than your presence or your comments brings me anger or hatred. So I will happily enjoy your art for what it is and separate you from you as a person, from the art that you've produced.
My problem, I understand your point, and it is admirable to be able to compartmentalize and separate those things. For me, sometimes supporting the art is indirectly supporting the artist, where if I buy a Kanye ticket, I'm basically saying, hey man, no matter what you said or did, I like your art, so I'm going to continue to give you my money and support you. And that feels not more aligned with my personal morals. Where same thing, where it's kind of like, well, Kanye, if you say you hate all Jewish people, death to Jews, you come out, and that's what I'm sorry, that's what I was getting at. So being the art being able to bring you joy, I love that statement. I think that's absolutely correct. That's the job of an artist, is to evoke emotion in people, hopefully a positive one.
Yeah.
When you produce art with the title Hail Hitler,
see, this is right. This is where my argument sort of starts to fall apart, and that's because it's just Kanye. I can recognize that, but that's why I've been yeah, exactly. Kanye is like I said, like that's the perfect example right there of him being unapologetic, shamelessly loud, and super gross and deplorable.
Yes,
that's a perfect example. But again, like, for as much as you and I hate that, I'm not saying that, oh, we should celebrate the people who love it. Absolutely not. But there's more to Kanye's portfolio, so to speak, than just that song. And as we all know, the reason he became so famous was because of his wildly amazing career before all of this crazy shenanigans started happening. So it's tough, right? Because again, with Kanye, the discrepancy between what made Kanye Kanye and what Kanye is now is so different, and have both infected his art, or I guess rather, one has infected his art and the other bolstered it. And you don't know which one he's going to be playing at his concert. Well, that's the risk you run, right? But to me, that's such an exclusive feature of Kanye's fandom that it's hard for me to agree with the overall point that, like, we need to stop artists from getting a platform, from sharing their art with other people because of something they said or something you disagree with.
I think that's actually 100% fair. I think what we're trying to say is we miss the old Kanye.
I personally don't. I was never a fan, so.
It's a famous Kanye lyric. I miss the old Kanye.
Yeah, oh yeah. You want to sing the whole song?
Nope. No, I do not.
No.
Well, Anakin, this was fabulous as always. Thanks for the discourse.
Of course, thank you.
We'll catch up with you later. So Vanity Fair had the cast of SNL doing some like interviews, some like little games. I watched every single one. If you know me, you know I'm the biggest diehard SNL fan. Dream job, manifesting it. Lauren Michaels, I know you're, a big fan of The Daily Brief. You watch every day. Just drop a comment below. I'm sure we could connect. Chloe Fineman had a question on her card, one of those like Vanity Fair cards, that was, what job has this cast member been fired from and then rehired? And her answer was camp counselor. And so the story she tells is when she was 16, she was a camp counselor, and there was a little boy who she would always like be like, oh, like give me a hug. But he would always come and like try to like lift her shirt. And she was like, okay, like we're not doing that. So at 16 years old, she was like, funny prank, like I'm gonna pants this kid. Like, and if you know me, you know I love like a pantsing prank, like a harmless prank. You know, pantsing, fine. Like if you're wearing pants, like you're subject to a pantsing. So she pantses this kid. He's not wearing underwear. All of the comments then are like, Chloe Fineman is disgusting. disgusting. She's like, we can't stand her. She sexually abused children. She admitted to harassment on the Vanity Fair interview. While I understand that argument, and I would never diminish an accusation of that kind, I think from the interview, it's very clear, like, they were both kids. She, like, it's summer camp. Everyone's subject to a pantsing. If you're not wearing underwear, that's on you, dare I say. Yeah, sue me maybe. Don't. Cut that out. I didn't mean to say that. Anyways, Eric.
A lot to unpack with what you just said, Talia, I have to say. Let's start with you calling my entire department dumb.
Okay. No. No.
Should we start there, or do you want to just dive right into the story?
Let's just glaze right over that for now.
Okay. So a couple things, aside from your victim shaming, I would say that, yes, this is a summer camp, pantsings happen.
Yeah.
I also think that in elementary school, when I was there, pantsing was big. You get suspended instantly for doing that.
Whoa, really?
Also, nut taps, those are big when we were children as well.
Huge.
So, same kind of world of
sure.
pranks, I feel like. I do feel like pantsing a 6-year-old kind of weird, I will say, regardless of if you're a teenager. I think 6 is probably too young to pants. I feel like that's more of like a push the kid down kind of situation.
Maybe.
If he's constantly trying to lift your shirt. So I get her wanting to respond, probably not the appropriate way. Now let's talk about the fact that Vanity Fair cut this video. And the reason I want to talk about this part is because recently, Chloe Fineman is allegedly a Scientologist.
Allegedly.
Allegedly a very high up Scientologist along with her parents. Allegedly. There was recently a big Scientology event where all of the top Scientologists, Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Elizabeth Moss, were all attending, and they released photos of the event and then went back and scrubbed out Tom Cruise. Again, allegedly. So I think Scientology has a track record of scrubbing their higher ups when they don't want them to be seen in certain situations or admitting to certain things. So I'm wondering how high up this scrubbing goes, because obviously this went through checks and balances within Vanity Fair. So they would have seen this reaction and the reaction of the cast members and things like that. So I'm interested to see if maybe the viral reaction is when maybe a third party stepped in to kind of minimize the risk here.
What I'm hearing is that I need to join Scientology so like bad photos of myself can be removed from the internet.
That's all you took away from that? Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. But I did not know that this large-scale Scientologist gathering had happened.
Yeah, this was all alleged. I'm just basically spouting out internet rumors right now, but I did see the official photos. And I did see them there, but apparently they were republished and scrubbed.
Wow.
So, yeah.
How interesting. I wonder if Vanity Fair will release like a statement explaining why they cut the video.
We should reach out to them for comment. I imagine they're just going to say because it was inappropriate, and I mean, what can you say to that? Obviously, that's true.
That's fair. So do you where kind of do you stand on this? Yay or nay to pantsing?
I would say yay to pantsing, nay to pantsing children.
Okay. What if you're also a child?
If you're also a child, I think you should not be able to pants or be pantsed until you're over the age of 10.
Okay, honestly, that's fair.
Yeah, I feel like that's an appropriate pantsing age.
I don't know though because.
But also wear underwear. So.
Yeah. No.
So the 6-year-old not wearing underwear tells me that he was not.
That he was
of an
cool
adult
as hell.
mindset. He was just like kind of free balling for the day because he was 6 and he was alone at camp and he was feeling free, feeling like an adult. And then here comes Bully Feynman over to ruin the poor kid's day. So I do feel for the kid, but I don't want to give her too much flack for that incident because again, the kid was clearly basically sexually assaulting her at the same time. A lot going on between a 14-year-old and a 6-year-old, but that's what happens at summer camp, baby. What happens at summer camp stays at summer camp, or you do a Vanity Fair article on it 15 years later.
Eric, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Wow, I revoke any comments I further mentioned about your intelligence. You are there.
Wow.
You are now the most brilliant person I know. I just want to make it abundantly clear. I would never support the mistreatment of children. I understand that they were both minors at the time, which is why I find this more excusable. And it comes from a place of innocence of like, well, you lifted my shirt, now I'm gonna pants you. I don't think she intended for it to be a potentially traumatic event for this child. CBS Mornings did a segment with a 16-year-old boy who, says this social media trend of looks maxing has caused him to take steroids. He's on Tren, which was, I believe, originally intended for livestock to like bulk up so their meat is better. I don't know if that's true. And then after being presented, like with the health risks, they were like, well, you're doing these steroids, these injectables, peptides, working out this much, eating this way, XYZ, you could face some serious health complications. And he said, quote, if I have a heart attack at 30, I have a heart attack. All right. Well, I have been looks maxing, as you can tell, and the person I learned all of my trade secrets from would be none other than Chris.
Yes, thank you, Talia. And you have been looks maxing. You've been doing a great job,
Thanks.
by the way. But there are certain dangers, as we've learned with the CBS Morning interview. I hope you're not doing any Tren.
I'm not yet.
Okay.
Should I return the stuff I bought?
This kid he was on WhatsApp getting his Tren from China,
Whoa.
which seems pretty serious. And apparently it's very inexpensive.
That's tempting.
So yeah, tempting, but also stay away from it. Like
crazy.
you said, this was intended for cattle.
Yeah.
And so Tren has become, it's no pun intended, it's become trendy in the looks maxing community.
Trendy.
Because it's super hardcore. Like you just can bulk up crazy really quick, but it's also like, I don't have a PhD in this stuff. Supposedly extremely dangerous, more so than other steroids. So It's like the one that'll get you the most jacked, the quickest, but also might mess you up the most.
Yeah. So I also saw though that he posted on this, like not posted, but he showed in the CBS interview that he was like, here's my 7-month transformation. And you look at the pictures and you're like, dude, that's just puberty, I think. Like at 16 years old?
Not at all. Okay, we have to, I feel like, introduce some nuance to this conversation. This kid was chopped. Let's be honest. It's just you and me talking here. We can talk candidly. This kid was chopped, and now he kind of mogs. All right, now, there is an incredible amount of danger with what he's doing, and no one should be doing Tren at 16. But I feel like, during the CBS Morning interview, nobody mentioned the fact that, he does look better. And I feel like with kids, okay, hold on, hear me out. With kids that are trying to, they're trying to ascend, they're trying to looks max, there's all this, negativity around it, and it is problematic. But just the idea that you should try to get in the gym and work out and improve yourself, that is a good thing. Why was not, everyone should be doing that.
It's a great thing to, want to maximize your health, maybe health max. But
health max and looks max as well.
Well, if looking good makes you feel good, see, when I'm chopped, I feel my best. So I'm chop maxing.
You come in those morning meetings and you go, I'm chopped today. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any work.
Exactly.
That's the opposite.
I'm chop maxing. But I'm just saying, if this kid were to just maybe like eat a couple vegetables a day, drink a liter of water, go to the gym, I think he could achieve similar results. No,
he could look better, and that's what he should be doing. But he's not. Have you seen what this kid looks like now? The guy looks like he looks like a robot. He looks insane. He's 16 years old. He looks like he's 30. He's got muscles on top of his muscles. It's insane. This is not a good thing. I feel like people, especially on social media, you see these people like Clavicular, like Togi, who's another looks maxing person that was mentioned or referenced in the CBS interview. Like these people are crazy jacked, and it's a problem, and no one should compare themselves to that. But like you said, just the idea of eating better, going to the gym, like that's what the conversation should be about. It shouldn't just all be about condemning these people, because it's like they forgot what it's like to be 16. It's like you get bullied, you want to look better, you want to be able to talk to people like this. That's when you're 16, you don't have anything else besides, that's your whole world.
That's so true.
So like that's valuable.
It's dangerous for them though to push that narrative that like Tren and testosterone and SARMs.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's where the dangers are.
Yeah.
So we should talk about how that's extremely problematic. Like this kid says, I might get a heart attack when I'm 30. I don't care because I'm
so sad.
Buff or whatever. Like that's a problem. But we shouldn't just be condemning that. We should be introducing alternatives like, hey, maybe do a little Pilates. I don't know what they're maybe,
we're Pilates maxing.
Our boss Harvey Levin does some laps in the pool, some healthy kind of stuff, hit the gym, eat better. Like that should be the conversation around looks maxing and people like this. That's how I feel.
wholeheartedly agree with that. And I
Mm-hmm.
also think at 16, these kids are so impressionable. Clavicular,
Yes.
impressionable. Clavicular, maybe do like an Erewhon collab with like
Do
a
an Erewhon collab,
pre-workout
collab.
smoothie and like make the
Yes.
16-year-olds buy that instead of like black market trend.
Exactly.
I don't know,
Yes.
just something I just came up with.
No, you nailed it. Instead of the black market trend, Erewhon smoothie. That's more.
Like
That's where I'm
a
trying to bring the
kale
conversation
smoothie
to.
and a couple
Kale
sit-ups.
smoothie, couple sit-ups. You know, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's collab. I don't know, but
Yeah.
something like that, I feel like, is more productive than all the discourse around this. Like in the CBS Mornings interview, it was just sort of like bashing this kid and talking about
Yeah.
how horrible. But it's like, you know, these people are super impressionable. You're at a young age, and you see these influencers with huge followings, like Clavicular, and it's you know, it sucks.
It's hard.
It's bad. It's hard. You know, you don't know your way as a kid, and you just you gravitate to these people with these huge followings. And so we shouldn't condemn these kids. We should try to give them a better guidance on how they can mog, how they can look good, like this kid looks good, how they can get jacked, not as jacked as he is right now. Which, by the way, I was just on this guy's TikTok. His name is Zaid. His TikTok handle, I don't want to shout him out too much, but his TikTok handle is Zaid Tren.
Oh my
And
God.
Tren is not his last name, so he's like,
He's just like
these
really
drugs.
leaning into this
Yes,
like
they become
steroid.
like a part. It's like part of his personality. It's like him
Yeah,
holding
that's
like
scary.
10 needles and being like, how much Tren am I gonna do? Like that's
Wow.
a problem.
Yeah,
you know
not
what I mean?
cool. Well, Chris, I, have been kind of shitting on The Office today that everyone is like really stupid and we just kind of joke around. I think
Yeah.
this was some really sage advice you've given to the youth of America.
Yeah, this was an insightful conversation,
Yeah, this
and
was
we're
great.
like you and I. We can be like the Michelle Obama of this generation.
we're the
We're gonna
organic
turn the tide.
maxers.
Yeah,
So
that's right. We're trying to get America healthy.
yeah, the
right
right
way.
way. Oh,
Yes.
jinx.
But we want everyone to mog.
Yeah,
right?
well, I'll be film maxing over here if you want to work max over there.
Okay, I'm gonna work Max over here.
All right.
And then we'll mog later.
All right, we'll mog max later.
Okay.
So good
plan.
to talk to you, Chris. Peace out.
Great talking to you, Talia.
Well, now I'm going to outro Max. Folks, we have had a maximum day of fun over here. Well, not too much fun because we talked about some heavy crap. Talked about Kanye, Offset shooting incident, chatted about, the looks maxing stuff and Chloe Fineman's Vanity Fair interview. As always, I hope you'll learn something new. I'm Talia, and this has been The Daily Brief. I will brief Maxie tomorrow.